Good afternoon and welcome to the Windsor Star's Net News at Noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Pearson, bringing you the best from the paper and the web. Windsor Star columnist Chris Vanderdolen, who on Thursday broke the news about a whopping $7 billion deal between Ontario and Samsung to create green energy jobs, will have something more for us perhaps. When Dalton McGuinty announced it on Thursday, however, he did not mention Windsor in any way. It seems that Chatham and Haldimand counties are the recipients so far. But Vanderdolen will let us know if Windsor has any connection to this bonanza or not. Another big announcement day today. Mayor Eddie Francis and Windsor MPPs Dwight Duncan and Sandra Pupatello have a big announcement for us today, but it's so far very hush-hush. Judging, however, by the smiles and levity surrounding mentions of this thing, perhaps it's something fun. Red Bull last week announced race dates in Berlin and New York City, and last year, Ontario gave $3.2 million to Red Bull to have it here. Could Windsor be a stopover 3 years in a row? Inquiring minds want to know, and we'll let you know as soon as we do. Johnson Controls has announced that it will close its Lakeshore plant come March and sell the property. The 90 remaining workers are hopeful, however, that they and 30 other workers on layoff will be absorbed by Chrysler. Displaced workers at Aradco and Aramco have a bit of good news. The auto parts suppliers' owners have announced that the workers will share $225,000. Up to this point, they had zilch, so that is good news. Bad news, though, is that the Spitfires play against Kitchener tonight, but they'll do so without big Zach Cassian. The 6'3", 215-pounder was whacked with a 20-game suspension for his hit last week on Barrie Colts forward Matt Kennedy, who suffered a concussion. How many games do you think Cassian should have been suspended for? Well, that's the question of our online poll, and thus far, 8% have said 0 games, 43% have said between 1 and 10, 5% said between 11 and 19, 8% said it should have been 20 games, and 35% said it should be more than 20. You can take that poll right now online at windsorstar.com if you wish. Either way, the Spits are back at the WFCU Centre on Sunday at 2 p.m. playing Niagara Windsor style. And what style is that? Some might say dirty these days. I just say good. Hey, listen. They're planning on banning junk food from high school cafeterias in Ontario. The Windsor-Essex County Health Unit has suggested banning outdoor smoking at sports and recreation areas. What's next, I say? Banning soap operas, laziness, white after Labor Day? Well, at least they haven't suggested banning our favorite guilty pleasure, Karen Hall. Karen Hall?
Hi, Craig.
Come on in.
That's quite the introduction.
Well, you know, you don't get that kind of introduction every day.
No, only in divorce court, but...
What do you want about this week?
What am I on about this week? Well, I noticed that your eye's watering a little bit, you know.
I'm
it
sad
could be your
because
makeup
Zach Kennedy is Cassian, I should say, is out. But anyway.
Yeah, the Kennedys are dead. What am I writing about this week? Well, I mentioned the eye because I'm writing about the fact that most people in this newsroom are hypochondriacs. It started with H1N1. And while our boss, Marty, thinks we're working, we're actually Googling symptoms of everything.
You're giving me a headache.
I know. I give most people a headache. But, I mean, I found out that Google keeps this information forever. So when you type in, like, what does herpes look like? It's there. It's there in your file. It's there at CanWest.
So you're suggesting we're all a bunch of hypochondriacs?
I'm absolutely suggesting that.
Listen, yeah. I mentioned Kennedy. I shouldn't have mentioned Kennedy, but...
No, that was... Yeah.
Okay, but is there some sort of other kind of Kennedy-ish person in the news that you might like to chat about?
Well, funny you should mention that. I am just so ticked off with John Edwards right now. You know, the guy with the little 2-year-old baby who looks just like him, and he finally decided he would acknowledge paternity.
Well, what do you think about that? For the longest time, he said, "No, I have nothing to do with this baby. It's not mine."
Well, I think the fact that he wanted a diaper, a dirty diaper, so he could do his own DNA test. I don't know. I mean, he's got a wife who's dying of cancer. He had a son who died. He just is arrogant like all politicians, and I can't figure out how they always think they're going to get away with this. The kid looks more like him than the other kids he has.
This is gossip, right?
This is gossip. I live for gossip.
You live, Karen Hall admitting that she lives
I
for
live
gossip?
for gossip, and I want to know what herpes looks like. Not that there's anything wrong with me. I just want you to know. Yeah.
Karen, thanks once again for coming on to talk with us.
Thank you. I'm going out to get a life right now.
Well, just wait till I say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Okay. Have a nice weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Karen Hall will be in the paper on Saturday, and she'll be back with us.
If I'm not sick.
She's feeling sick. Click on us Monday for some more Net News at noon.